The life of a gypsy. The only home Ray Van Horn knows is his trusty RV. He crisscrosses the United States from the streams of Montana to the waters of southern Florida and destinations in between and beyond. It's the life Ray loves. It's the life of a gypsy angler.
This week, we're fishing in Placida, Florida. So I rolled out at about 0400, like I always do. And I peeked my head out the door, and I'm going, ooh. Post front, first big front of the year. And I knew we were setting ourselves up for a tough day. And on my way to Placida, all these things are rolling through my mind. So I loaded up the 2510 with all the gear, and I headed out of the campground. And I was just thinking, you know, this is going to be so cool. I'm fishing with a guy I've never fished with before, and I want to prove a point. I want to prove a point that you do not have to have optimum conditions to catch fish on topwater bait. We're fishing with Captain Joe Angus. We're idling out, and I've got almost 30 years of fishing history here. And quite honestly, a lot of things just don't change. I've got Captain Joe Angus with me. And Joe, it's looking pretty good. What are we gonna do today?
Well, we're gonna go look for some redfish in the morning. Hopefully we can find a small school. And then we're gonna look for that snook bite on topwater later in the afternoon and catch some trout in the potholes.
I like how you think, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's go do it. I met Joe at a boat show working the Ranger booth. And what's compelling about this young guy is his passion for the game, for the sport of fishing. And I thought it'd really be fun to have him on the boat, see if we can't have a great day. This time of the year, this place is full of bait. You know, we're on kind of a quarter moon, so the tides are not that dramatic. So I wanted to start near a place that had a lot of current on this outgoing tide. And as you pull out of the Placida boat ramp, there's opportunity right there. We didn't go far. So really close to the boat ramp, there's this great spot that's getting current. It's an island, and there's current kind of splitting the island. And I like that, especially on these quarter moon tides where you don't have a lot of tide. You have more tide in a situation like that where you're close to a pass. And in addition to that, there's a lot of bait, there's great turtle grass, there's huge potholes, and you know, you go fishing. And it didn't take too long and we had one.
There we go, there we go.
Got him? All right, Joe.
Nice fish. Nice.
All right, I'm gonna put the power poles down.
Unless I snag something.
Well, there's so many mullet out there, you could have.
I might have.
Very easily. I've bumped about 4 or 5 mullet.
Yeah, it feels like I snagged something.
What is that? You might have hooked him in the wrong end, dude.
No,
is that a big trout?
I think so.
You got a big trout. Look at the size of this trout. Now, your technique's a little bizarre, dude. Just
you wanted it, though.
I mean, look at that. Yeah, slide him on up here. All right, now that's an unusual skill set that, quite honestly, I'm not privy to. I'll put him back in the pool here real quick.
Let's do it.
There you go, buddy. Hey, nice job. You know, and this is what's happening right here. You got high pressure, and these are reaction baits. So a lot of times there's more than one fish. They swing at it, and you know the other one. You know, you feel bumped, you set the hook, and that's what happens. So.
Hey, you were right. They were hanging it right at that pothole there.
Yeah, these are great potholes, and I'm sure that you'll catch one in the mouth before it's over.
The Gypsy Angler with Ray Van Horn is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. EVINRUDE E-Tech, 300 hours, no dealer scheduled maintenance. Camp Light Truck Campers, no wood, no rot.
So we're throwing topwater baits, and I look down in this trough and I see a couple of snook, and they are belly on the bottom. I mean, they're not anywhere near to being active. So I just grabbed another rod of the subsurface, and bam. Oh, trout. A little snooker, a little trout, Joe.
Looks like a nice
Snooky man! Look at
that's a good one too.
That is right there with one of my favorite things to do.
Woo.
Yeah, baby. You know what I got tied on?
Let me guess. Catch 2000.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
if I'm fishing in Florida, I've got to catch 2,000. If I'm fishing anywhere, I've got to catch 2,000 on. Dude, they call it a catch.
For a reason.
For a reason.
That's a decent sized snook for the morning.
Not bad, not bad. That's the best mullet imitation on the planet, that catch 2000.
It's right under his gill. There you go.
That's the other reason I'm not using 20. You got the gripper?
I got the gripper.
Got him?
Yeah, I got him.
It's not too bad.
Nice start out the morning.
All right, man. I tell you what, that little jewel right there, that catch 2000, catches everything. I mean everything, including big snook. I don't go anywhere without having one of them tied on. Now, I dropped down to 40-pound test, and that makes me nervous because typically I got 50 on. You gotta remember that's fluorocarbon, and it's a reaction bait.
Yep.
So they're not focused on that 50. Let's get her back in the pool.
Let's do it.
You know, based on the tide, you know, you just go fishing. This is pretty much unscripted. Joe, I think we ought to make a move, man.
All right, that sounds good.
We'll run back up into the flats a little bit farther where that tide hadn't fell out quite as far, and try a couple more spots.
All right.
You get gut feelings on the history of the place in this case. Looking at the tide, looking at the location, looking at the attitude of the fish. We just kept rolling. We weren't married to any one particular spot or any one particular technique. And basically we just went fishing and throwing some topwaters and subsurface baits and having a great time.
Gorgeous snook, man.
And that's a perfect example right there. That snook didn't want to eat it, high pressure, but he just could not stand that thing going over his head. I was excited about the afternoon incoming tide simply because the water was a little warmer. In the last 10 days, the temperature after this front, the water temperature's dropped 10 degrees. And I really thought we were gonna have a better chance of catching some decent fish in the afternoon. So everything we caught in the morning was a bonus, and you know, we just went fishing. Here's a little lesson. If you were fishing live or natural bait today, you're gonna have a tough day. They're not feeding. Slow tides, high pressure, but you can catch them on a reaction bait like a topwater, a subsurface, a Mirrolure, and a lot of them are going to be caught at the bottom of the chin or the side plates like that one, but you're going to catch them. If you start early and fish late and try to incorporate both the incoming and outgoing tides stages, you're setting yourself up for a better situation. And quite honestly, I figured everything we caught in the morning was going to be bonus on that outgoing tide.
The Gypsy Angler with Ray Van Horn is brought to you by St. Croix Rods. Fish now, do everything else later. FRIGID-RIGID Coolers, the last cooler you'll ever buy. Mirrolure, turn on the bite anytime, tie on a Mirrolure. TORKLIFT International, the camper tie down and suspension of Gypsy Angler.
So we're working the shoreline, we're throwing subsurface baits, and Joe hooks into a pretty good fish. We can't really tell what it is. It doesn't jump. We didn't know if it was a redfish, a big jack. It really wasn't running like a jack. Got him? Good fish?
I don't know yet.
Go to the back of the boat. Don't let him run you into the junk.
Could be a jack, I'm not sure. I think it's a jack.
What you got, Joe?
I think it's a jack.
Jack.
What it's fighting like.
He gets about halfway to the boat. We're kind of looking down like this. I mean, I was actually kind of canted over, trying to figure out what he had. Oh my God!
Shit. Oh my God!
You got a big bull shark now, dude.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
You got a big bull shark on your jack, Jack.
Oh my God.
Now what are you gonna do? Okay.
Oh dude, he's big, man.
And all of a sudden, a submarine comes flying out of the water and just chomps these fish. And off to the races he goes, the man in the brown sea. Dude, that was classic.
That was awesome though.
May have to use the gripper on that. Not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, I want to wait along here.
I don't know how I still have him on.
You going back?
He's smoking you.
He is?
Just keep
Come
going.
on up here.
I'm coming, hold on.
Yeah, he doesn't even know that he's in the game. That is a huge bull shark. Huge.
It's like Jaws.
It could have been a snook.
All right, he's right up here, guys. Oh yeah. Leader, right here's leader.
Here's leader. That's a full-grown one right there.
Going your way. You're good.
Was.
Whew. Look at that rod, man. It's just
Yeah, fight him with this part down here. Kind of go down like this and pull him to the side.
tire him out, just like tarpon.
Yeah.
All right, he's ready
See,
to fall in here.
that irritated him.
Oh, there it goes. It's all right. We'd be there for a while. That's what's up.
Oh, that was great.
Cool.
The last couple of years, I have noticed everywhere in the state of Florida, not only in Florida, but everywhere I've been, whether it's the Carolinas, Louisiana, coastal fishing, shark populations are up. I'm telling you, I'm on the water almost every day. Every captain I talk to says the same thing. We're seeing more sharks, more bull sharks, especially more bull sharks, more black tips, more great hammerheads. And I've never even done a shark show until this year because you can target these fish now. There's so many of them. A lot of people say, well, they're a nuisance and they're eating our fish. What that tells me is that the environment and the fishery is robust, and that it's, for that many apex predators to be there, they've got to have something to feed on. And it's all a balance. So if you don't have that food chain, you're not going to have all those sharks. So I think it's a good thing. And you know what? I kind of like playing with them. Today we're dissecting a flat with potholes. It's all about the equipment. If you don't have the proper tools, you're not going to have a very successful outing. To be able to do that, you got to be able to position your boat correctly. When you finally get to a sweet zone, you've got to be able to anchor properly. And then you've got to have the right tools to catch them with. In this situation, we're going to throw topwater baits. And I've got the wind in my back, and I can make long presentations with conventional tackle and or spinning tackle, whichever I deem is going to be the best tool for the job. For me, I love a conventional setup. The rod you're going to use in a situation like this where you've got fish that are tentative, you're going to use, believe it or not, a medium light action rod. It's got more of a parabolic bend to it, allows the fish to get it in its mouth better, and more important than that is actually playing a fish that in some cases you've got a reflex strike and they may not be hooked very well. So you've got a lot of give in that rod. You make long casts, you fight the fish with the butt of the rod, the presentation and the shock absorbency is in the tip. So I like a medium light rod on a conventional setup. If you get into a situation where the wind's in the wrong direction, you got to make a Herculean long cast. That's a spinning setup. Same deal, parabolic rod, don't have to worry about a backlash. So have both of these tools at your disposal. So if the scenario presents itself, you're ready to go.
The Gypsy Angler with Ray Van Horn is brought to you by ProCure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective. Blue Point Fabrication, if you can dream it, we can build it. Dick Norris GMC, the preferred truck dealer of the Gypsy Angler. Bob's Machine Shop, go fast, go shallow, go efficient.
After bouncing around all morning, all of a sudden we could tell the tide was getting pretty flat. I mean, I actually saw a couple of snook laid up and we ran right over them with the trolling motor and they never moved. Turtle grass was straight up like this. No tide, no current, not even wind driven. That's not really gonna be a good shot for catching a fish. So we just waited it out. A good combination for potholes, pothole fishing, transition fishing with a topwater bait is to throw a popping cork or a comeback lure. And in this situation, I mean, a popping cork rig is really, really effective. And in situations like this where they may roll at a topwater and not get it, you throw a popping cork out there, give it one or two pops, let it sit in the water column, and those fish find it to be attractive. And Joe is a pretty savvy angler and picked up on that right away.
Oh, you got him, Joe? Oh, yeah! Look at that snook, dude. Whew.
Straight up cleaned it out.
Woo!
Typically in a situation where you have a low incoming tide, these fish will lay up in potholes and they get right on these edges. And a pothole is not an even configuration. It may look like it to the naked eye, but the edges are kind of scoured out from the current. And there's a transition right there where it goes dark to light. And an ambush predator, an apex ambush predator like a snook or a big trout, he'll lie up right on that leading edge and wait for an opportunity, whether it's a crustacean or a finfish coming over the top, he can dart up and smack it. In this case, he was smacking a topwater bait.
Topwater snook, that is cool, man. That was a great strike.
Oh, sweet. About time we got him to bite.
Nice fish right there. Not bad. That one ate it. Gotcha. Boy, Joe, he was barely
hooked.
Hand me the pliers
Yep,
right here.
got him. Top water, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Look at that, just fell out. I thought he was a bigger fish than that.
Yeah, man.
Not bad.
Zipped out some line.
Look at that.
There's bigger ones out there.
That was
see
a
if we can
great
pop 'em.
strike, man. Look at those yellow fins. Dark fish, too. Been back in these creeks.
Whenever you're throwing a topwater bait, a search bait if you will, you always want a comeback lure, something else that's subsurface that these fish, they're hot. If they miss that topwater bait, you can reflex, pick up that rod, pitch it out there. That fish is still hot. It's an immediate deal. It's got to be just seamless, and you're going to wind up catching those fish.
I'll tell you what, I'll take that any day of the week. Tough day like today, that's not so bad.
Yeah. On top water, afternoon, snook action.
Bam.
So after the tide goes flat, I'm sitting there, I'm going, okay, it's all about timing. Quarter moon tide, the tide's not going to change till late in the day. We start early, try to get what we can, and I pretty much knew that this was going to be a 12th hour deal because those fish don't really start crawling up on the flat until that tide's moving fairly good. And you've got an east-northeast blowing against that slower incoming tide, so it's going to take longer. And I'm getting a little, a little antsy, a little nervous because I want it to happen now. And you can't hurry Mother Nature. You just got to be there when it happens, and it happened late.
Oh, buddy.
That's a good fish there, boys! Woohoo! That looks like a snook to me.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that one's got a line on his side and a face full of Miss Sheepdog.
As that tide started to come in, those trout showed up. And at first they were average, and then a good one came along. And quite frankly, we just ran out of time. It's all timing, and the best part of that tide was happening probably after I got back here and went to sleep.
Joe, that's why you fish hard, man. I've been doing this for a while. And fish hard's the only way to go, because you do not get this day back. You don't get it back, I don't get it back, it's spent. So fish hard, remember.
The thing that's really exciting about inshore fishing for me is quite frankly, the attitude of coastal fish.
All right, Snooky.
Inshore fish will strike a lure or try to eat a bait almost their size. If they think they can get it down, they're gonna eat it.
That was cool, Joe.
I don't care if it's a trout, a snook, a redfish, they all have attitude. When you live in a world where you've got to eat that or they're gonna eat you, that's pretty cool.